Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ankh Ageplay podcast. It's been a while. So I know it's been a while since I did this podcast. I took a break after Capcom, and recently I just now got back into filming. I took a well needed break. Usually I take a break up until about June, but recently I decided to just do it up until about now and then like May, and then just start doing it again. Um, I filmed in April. I did a one podcast in April, and there were people there for it. I really want to talk about something because I was rambling in that, and I had to redo this because the YouTube version that I'm working on right now, which is this episode that you're watching, I screwed up and I missed some really major points, so I wanted to redo it. Also, the other parts of that same episode, I'm going to be wearing something completely different because this is filmed after I did the other ones. So yeah, I wanted to really talk about that. Um, let's get to business. What I wanted to talk about today is about size 6 diapers. I know that seems really strange of a topic to start off with, but it's something that we do need to actually conversate about. So, in this community, since the very beginning, there's always been this thing about being able to fit into baby diapers. There's always been people that have fantasized of being able to wear baby diapers. I've never really understood that because once I discovered that ABDL diapers exist with all the cute prints and all that, I never really thought about this. But there are people that are that have a kink specifically for thin men and women who are able to wear like size 6 baby diapers. There are like models out there that do a lot of that, and there's been a discussion recently about like how ethical it is, and or not so much the ethics of it, but I guess the ethics in terms of how that would reflect on the people viewing the content. And supposedly the biggest issue with it is that it causes body dysmorphia for a lot of fucking models and people who consume ABDL content. So hear me out. This is there are two sides to this, and I cannot say that either side is wrong. And I'll explain. And then there's a third side which is just definitely wrong. So let's start off with side one, right? There are some people in the community that feel that the whole baby diaper fetish thing is weird and creepy, and that it causes body dysmorphia amongst those that are interested in the community or those that view the content. Like, even for the models that create the content, because some of the models feel that, since they can't fit one of those diapers, that they are undesirable or they're not going to have as many fans as the ones that can. I'm not sure if that's the audience you want to build, because but I mean, to each their own. Um, I I don't disagree with their notion. So let me explain. I disagree with the fact that it is creepy and all that. No, it's just a paraphernalia fetish that doesn't involve anyone but grown women and men, so I really don't give a fuck. But the major thing that bothers me about it is the body dysmorphia part, because those of us that consume the content of consume ABDL content, like, we a lot of times impose ourselves, superimpose ourselves onto the model that we see. We can see ourselves wearing those outfits. But when it comes to like wearing the different onesies, wearing the colorful diapers with the prints and all of that, they can see that. But when the reality hits It's when we get to the whole baby diaper thing, and it is annoying because it there are people in the community that will make you feel like you're undesirable because you can't wear that. There are people in the community that think that is the most. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get to that when I get to the third portion. But essentially, it does create a whole dysmorphic view because we are ourselves, like when we see, like I said before, when we see the model, we superimpose ourselves into the clothes that they're wearing. We're thinking, I could look that cute. I could be like that. And immediately we're thinking of ourselves. But when we add that kink in there and we know that we can't fit that, that becomes the idea that, am I undesirable because I can't do something that this model can? And that starts unhealthy and toxic conversations where people start calling models fat because they can't do that, or they start saying, oh well, she's not as hot as this person because this person can do this. Those toxic thoughts that we have, other people in the community have and actually talk. They actually say those things. Though most of those fuckers that say that shit are degenerates, that doesn't change the fact that it is something that, as a model, as a person, it's something that we are constantly criticizing on. And it's not a healthy conversation for them to be having. However, that's not the model's problem. That's an us problem. That is something that we need to learn to control on the superimposing part. That's something that we need to understand. We have to start detaching ourselves from some of the content that we see. That's what I mean by that. And when I say detach, I mean, I'm not saying that morally detach or anything like that. No. I'm saying that we need to detach the superimposing. We can't wear everything that we see another model wear. We can't do everything that we see certain models do. So why are we holding that as a standard for ourselves? We are different. We're all different. And just because you can't wear a particular brand, or you don't have something that fits you, does not mean that you are not beautiful. I actually want to use an example, and this is something that like I noticed out there. Like, I see a lot of models out there that actually spend a lot of time like trying to find themselves in the way that they dress and feel in their clothing, and also like a lot of time trying to find a way to fit in the best that they can into a kink that's so diverse and vast. This is where you get abdl cosplay from. This is where you get like a whole bunch of different like cat girl outfits that people are inspired to do from something else. It's not a bad thing. And I don't want people to feel that it's a bad thing because of the fact that they can't do something in specific. Find something else that might be a little bit more your style, is what I'm trying to say. Like, don't focus on the fact that you can't wear something. There are always alternatives. Like, for instance, there are like diapers out there that actually have the baby diapers smell and print, or they have tapes that can make them look like, that can make the all white diapers look like the ones that you wanted to wear. There's a lot of different like ways to do it. And if that happens to be your thing, I'm just giving you an opposite idea of something that you could do. That's really what I'm aiming for, or aiming to explain. Let's talk about the second point, the second part, like where I've seen some sex workers say that, like, don't kink shame the like our business and blah 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 like that, and I'm just like, look, it's all fine and dandy that you make your money any way that whatever way that you do it, right? But as a sex worker, you guys don't realize how much there are a lot of people out there that look up to you. There are a lot of people in the community who want to be in that, doing the same thing you do. They want to learn from you. They want to do all of this. And I know that a lot of sex workers are not willing to share that or talk about it. Fuck, most of them won't even acknowledge it. But that doesn't mean that it's not true. I feel that in some ways that a lot of models and sex workers need to start, like, uplifting their fans. Like, say some type of affirmation if you know that this is a thing. Sometimes we do stuff that is in the community that is toxic culture. And there is a toxic culture with the whole baby diaper thing. I'm about to talk about that. Don't add to the toxic culture by just, like, using catty behavior. That doesn't work. The way that you should be doing it is, for those of you that don't, like, can't fit into these like I can and stuff, don't hold that against me, please. That's something you could say. You could, like, try to uplift. Just try to be positive. There's no reason for us to go around being catty, toxic behavior because some guy online is constantly, like, saying shit that you don't like. Like, that's not everybody. And it's like they're telling you how, like, if other models are and people are telling you how it feels, if your answer is, well, it's about it, like, don't kink shame because of how someone makes their money. If that's your answer, and it's not, hey, yeah, I fit into this, but, like, you, like, don't let that get to you. You're beautiful anyway, that you, in every way, shape, or form of who you are. If that is something that is really hard to say, it kind of makes me wonder about the community sometimes. I'm just saying. But the other people's body dysmorphia from looking at your content is not your fault. That's just them superimposing themselves onto you. And people do that. Like, the thing that gets me is that some people are so oblivious to how they themselves used to be. They used to look at those magazines, those teen magazines, and want to be the person, the movie star or the singer that they saw in those books. There are many times that, like, as a young teen, I would look in anime books and want to be as cool as the characters that I was seeing in that. There were a lot of people that I would see cosplay that I wanted to be like those cosplayers and strive to be like that. But for some reason in this community, it's too hard to give an uplifting statement instead of just pounding down. It bothers the fuck out of me. And it's like I said before, what I'm talking about is just a pet peeve of something that I have with people in the community. But maybe saying something uplifting and trying to help people with their body dysmorphia is not a bad thing. Okay, it's not your job. Fair. Fucking fair, actually. But would it actually hurt for you to be positive in some way? Like, I feel like this entire conversation could have been brought up in a completely different situation and brought up in a more positive light. But it spread it onto the internet and ended up blossoming the fungi of the community, and I'll explain what that is. So, the third part of this that I was going to get to is, remember when I said that there's a toxic behavior in the community that has existed since even before I joined, when I was like a teen studying the community? Yeah. This was born from a lot of the stories, like the online ABDL stories that used to be on the forum boards and stuff like that, where there were always these baby diapers that were magically the same fucking sizes, that magically changed in size. It could be any size you needed it to be to fit that person in the fucking story, right? One of the issues that I think that did was it created a brand new kink on itself, where people were more focused on these on those particular diapers. For myself, right? I haven't worn baby diapers since I tried when I was 6. And after the basement flooded in my grandma's house, which was like 2 years after I did that, yeah, I never wore them again. But the basement flooding, like, interests me enough to go and actually, like, start researching. When I got my own computer and became a teenager, I started looking into, like, ABDL stuff and learning more about it. Not talking to people online, just learning more about it. But the stories on the forum boards and shit like that, they will always have these magical baby diapers and shit. Always. The constantly changing and shifting size like they're made of PIM particles or some shit. This ended up building an entire thing because there would be people that would write stories that would be like, oh, you're only a superior AB as long as you're able to fit into like size 6s. And there used to be like whole forum boards on FetLife talking about this. There still are. There are these people that think that just because you can fit into a size 6, that automatically makes you more desirable to a dominatrix or so. Because, that's the only thing that matters. This actually culminated to something that was on Instagram recently, where a dominatrix had posted, ask me any type of question, and someone was like, if I could wear a size 6, would that make me more attractive to you? Would that make me a higher candidate to be your little? Why the fuck would wearing a size 6 do that when your personality is shit? See, that's what I mean. That toxic behavior. Oh, as long as I fit in a size 6, it doesn't matter how the fuck I act. The fuck? It is insane. It is really insane. And I really think that, like, that toxic ass culture, even though it still exists, it's become a lot less prevalent, but it's still there. It's still there. It's like that growing weed. It's like, no, it's not a growing weed, as it is that one weed that keeps coming fucking back. No matter what you do, it keeps coming back. It's the same thing with the people that do not know how to behave at events and shit like that. It's the same thing. It's where they keep this online culture and they think that they can just be terrible people because they feel that, oh, well, no one knows me because I'm practically anonymous. You're not anonymous when you're in person, dipshit. The thing is that this toxic ass behavior, thought process, and is something that the community built years and years and years ago. And every so often there's like a septic backup and it automatically comes back to the surface at some point. Honestly, I think that it's a dying breed, a dying brand. And I really get annoyed whenever I hear stupid shit like this. Because you'd be surprised, those same people are no different than the ones that used to think that the ABDL community used to be, oh, it should only be made for whites. I know that sounds like it came out of nowhere, but no, that was an actual prevalent thought process back in the day too. It's kind of funny that the community has actually moved forward within the last 15 years. Anyway, yeah, so that's really what I have to say on this, because it's not one of those things that is like, where it's like everybody's wrong. No, just that third group is really wrong. I have my pet peeve on the other group that is like, oh, well, well, it's not our fault that you have body dysmorphia. You're right. It's not your fault. It's the people who are consuming the content. But I feel that there needs to be a more like honest push for more body positivity in the community. I feel like if there was a growth in body positivity, a lot of this issue wouldn't be as bad. We have a lot of thick and full figured models out there, some of which were at Capcom. Jesus Christ. Regardless of the fact, that's not here nor there. The point is that like I don't think that being able to wear size 6 makes you a problem or a threat to the community. That's fucking stupid. I do believe, though, that a lot of the conversation that needs to be had is more on the body positivity of the community and getting rid of a lot of the toxic thought process of old things that were built into the community back in like the early days of the forum boards for ABDL stories and stuff like that. Once we deal with that fucking issue, then we'll be perfectly fine. Just saying. Anyway, that is it for this particular topic. We'll be jumping into the next one right after the break. Yeah, don't worry. After the break, it'll be the actual episode that I filmed like several weeks ago. Oh man. But anyway, yeah, I will catch you guys later. Well, see you after the break.